You're listening to 91.5 WUMF Farmington. This is Listen with Leo. I have a very special treat for you today. I have the extremely talented artist Pyam Morin in the studio with me today. Pi, go ahead and say hi to the fans.
Hey guys.
All right. So Pyam Morin, also known as Pi, is a good friend of mine. He's a junior music major at UMF. He is a singer-songwriter and has trained for years in classic opera. He also plays guitar and piano, and he is the music director for one of UMF's a cappella groups, Deep Treble. Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. How are you this fine evening, Pi?
I'm good. You know, I got out of class at a whopping 6 p.m., so hustled right on over here, but at least it was improvised music with Aaron Wyansky, so we were at least in the vibe.
All right, so we're going to start with a little interview first, and then if we're lucky, which I hope we will be, Pi will bless our ears with his musical stylings. So first things first, Lullabies for the Brokenhearted. There are 4 songs on the EP, but I know you have many more songs in the vault. So what made you choose those ones for recording?
So I was doing it as a project for a class, and those were the ones where I figured I could do the arrangements of them pretty reasonably and still be able to finish them by the deadline of the class, because I recorded basically the entire EP in 3 weeks. So
wow, that's pretty impressive, honestly. The title feels kind of self-explanatory to me, but I was wondering if you could define the concept of the EP as a whole.
Yeah, so it's primarily so of the 4 songs, they are based on one of my exes, basically. Shout
out to X.
Shout out to this ex.
Anti.
So no, and then my experience moving on after that ex broke up with me and then started dating another girl 2 days later.
That's fun.
So that was so it's based on that, and they were comfort songs for me, where it was I wrote these because of her, and then she ended up being nasty.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the songs are great. Situation, not so much. Do you have a favorite song on the EP?
I think Sheep is probably my favorite one.
That's a good one. It's very catchy.
It's really catchy. Yeah. And it's also the only one not written about my ex.
Oh, okay. I would have thought, just because of the lyrics.
Yeah. So that one was written actually about my fiance before we started dating. I speed wrote it the night before a performance he was supposed to come to, and then it snowed, and so he couldn't make it.
No.
But it's fine. Now I just play it for him in our bedroom.
Oh, that's really adorable. What is your songwriting process, in general and for these songs specifically?
Yeah, so for a lot of them, I wrote most of these while I was in the dorms or during COVID gap year. So I spent a lot of time just noodling around on my guitar because it was COVID and I didn't have anything else to do. Yeah. And a lot of them just sort of flowed very naturally like that. I'm actually working on not using the divine inspiration method, where it just pops into my head as a fully fleshed out song. And because of that, I'm reworking how I write music, because a lot of my practice is based in breakup trauma and stuff like that. Right. So I'm learning, but I am in the process of reworking my entire creative process, which is very long.
And I'm sure the music classes you've taken over the last few years have really helped with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. And actually it's I got into Monson arts, and that's my Monson project, where I'm reworking it, and not to drop spoilers, but there will be an album at the end of my senior year that's going to be my capstone project.
Oh, so
full fleshed album, April 2025.
Oh my god.
So
I cannot wait. This is a surprise to me. What would you say if you had to pick that your biggest inspiration is? Could be a person, could be a thing, could be an event.
I'm really inspired by the town I grew up in. It's just a really weird town. So I grew up in Pownell, Maine. It's very small. There's 1,500 people in it. there were 100 people in my elementary school, which was pre-K through 5.
Wow, that's pretty small.
So really small. My class, like my 5th grade graduating class, was 16 people. So itty bitty. And then like my mom's side of the family especially has a really long history there. So my grandmother has a lot of friends, and I got to hear all of their stories growing up, including stories I probably shouldn't have heard at the age I heard them.
Yikes.
But it means, like, I'm really inspired by the tarts, the blueberry tarts, which is the breakfast group that my grandmother is a part of, and it's like all the old women of Pownell and then their children and then their children's children.
That's so sad.
And as a trans guy, I just sort of got adopted in before I transitioned, and they never kicked me out.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. Oh my God. Who would you say your biggest supporters are in your music and in your general life too?
Well, my fiance, of course, Gray.
Shout out Gray.
Not the Gray who just walked by.
The other one.
Is like my biggest supporter. But also like my friends, like you, like
thanks.
Leo has been such a like driving force in my life. We've known each other for like 5 years, and like you were my biggest fan until Greg came into my life, and now you're my second biggest fan. And I'm sorry, Mom, because I know that you like to think you're my biggest fan.
Sorry,
but
Mom.
Also like my parents are really, really supportive of my music, and that is really great because I feel like a lot of people don't get that because. Like, I wanted to go to college for music, and that's not exactly something you think about when you're like, I'm going to go to college and get a career. So I'm very lucky in that my family is very supportive.
That's awesome. Shout out Pi's family.
Yeah.
And also Gray, who is in this room right now. Can you describe the path that led you here? Like, what has been your music journey so far? Where did you start? How did you get here? If that wasn't enough questions, what does the future hold for you?
Yeah. So I was in church choir as a kid. Shout out Trinity Episcopal in Portland. I grew up there, like not in Portland, but at that church. And I was in church choir before I could read. So the choir director actually had to read the words to me because I could sing, but I didn't know what words to say. So he would sit down and tell me what words I had to say when I had to sing them. And when I was 9, I started taking private lessons with him. I was very lucky. He just recently passed away. And it's a great loss. He was a really excellent educator and musician. But he was like a huge like driving force in my early childhood to get me to where I am now. And actually my dad plays guitar and sings all the time, and so I have memories of him like playing James Taylor right before I'd go to bed to like wind me down so I could sleep. I just was really lucky to grow up in a musical family, I guess.
That's amazing.
So like I did like private lessons and with my former teacher and then my other former teacher, and I was really lucky to learn like classical opera technique and the quote unquote proper way to sing. And then I was going to go to college for audio technician.
I remember that.
It was going to be a 1-year like trade program, and then COVID happened, and I had a mental breakdown, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to Arizona right now.
I didn't know it was Arizona.
Yeah, no, it was middle of Arizona.
Oh my God.
And so then at that point, Gray and I were dating, and he was on a gap year from Farmington, and I'd done Longfellow here with you. And I was like, well, screw it. I guess I'm going to go to Farmington.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best choices I ever made, honestly.
Awesome. I agree.
Speaking
as someone who also came here, which is so funny how like we didn't plan on, we both came here for the Longfellow summer camp, and then we were both like, I don't think we talked that much. Like,
no,
we didn't really
not
talk
really.
that much there, but we saw each other, and then we started talking online a little bit, and then
we ended up at
we were at district
choir together, standing directly next to each other.
None of this was planned. And then we were both seniors who were graduating the same year. You were going to Arizona apparently, and I was going to art school in Portland. And then COVID happened, and somehow we both ended up at UMF the same year.
Yeah,
which was insane.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if you had any plans to release new music in the future, but you already answered that with your full album.
I know.
Is there anything else you want to say about that? Like what we could
It's
expect?
still very early. But it'll be like my capstone project will be to write, produce, and record the entire album in 1 year.
Wow.
With Aaron Wyansky's help, because otherwise I would be royally screwed.
Yeah.
And so I'll get to learn recording technology. I'll get to figure out how to mix it, collaborate with people. So I'm going to try and get like some friends who play instruments or sing to like be on the album with me, do a little like co-performer type thing.
Yeah. That's super cool.
But I'm really excited for it, even though it's in very early stages.
Wow. I'm also excited. I didn't know about this. This is a surprise to me. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think that was pretty much all the questions I have.
Whoa.
And unless you have anything else, is there anything you want to say? You want to shout out anyone?
Yes. Are you guys ready to hear this music?
Yeah.
Is the question.
Because Pi's gonna get ready to perform, and I'm gonna have a little PSA break.
Whoa.
Right.
PSA time.
PSA time. All right, let's do it. Okay. The FAFSA season is here. Meet someone from the financial literacy team to get any last-minute questions answered about filing your FAFSA. The March 1st deadline for priority consideration for funding is quickly approaching. FAFSA by the 1st will be held on Wednesday, February 28th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. in the Student Learning Commons. Stop by, no question is too big or small. Remember, that's Wednesday, February 28th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. in the Student Learning Commons. All right, and now we're going to take a minute to get everything set up. I don't think this has ever been done before at WUMF, a live performance. So we're gonna feel it out. It might be a little clunky. Let's see. I'm gonna move this chair over. Are you sitting or standing?
Standing.
Okay. All right, please hold while we try to configure things. All right, so if you want, I can hold this up for you because it's not going to stay. And this one can go over here.
Yeah. Here, you come over
Okay,
here.
I'm coming over here. All right, I'm going to turn this up a little bit.
There we go.
All right, this is good. All right. You might have to
We
be
are
loud.
trying, folks.
Yeah, there we go. That'll work.
All right. So this is Leo's personal favorite song. It is not on the EP, but we're doing it anyways. So this is Foliage, which is also about one of my exes. So. They're in the foliage. They're facing through the trees and they follow aimlessly. They're in the foliage, chasing me. The wolves, they circle, coyotes cry, howls and yips echo through the night. The forest is vocal in its own way, speaking in tongues as night fades to day. Create pathway through the great unknown. This is my own head, so why do I feel so alone? I'm sick of waiting to find myself. It's time for me to get out. They're in the foliage. They're floating through the trees and they follow aimlessly. They're in the foliage, chasing me. I'm not good at remembering my own lyrics. This is a fun fact about me. So
It's all part of the song.
it is, yeah. I'm just gonna skip the second verse. All right. Just a bit further to go. I can make the path, I can make it home. Just a bit further to run. I can see the sun, it's past where I've begun. In the foliage, they're in the foliage. They're floating through the trees and they follow aimlessly. They're in the foliage, chasing me. Woo!
That was so good. Okay.
Okay. It's capo time, guys.
Capo time.
All right. I promise I know the lyrics to this one better. So this is one. It's also not on the EP, sadly, but it will probably be on the album. We're gonna try for it. And this is called Summer Break, and it's about disability and surviving when you don't have like a set schedule. So. Brewed myself a cup of coffee, tipped it down the drain. Oh, how I love the smell, but I can't drink it anyway. Popped some pills, not for thrills, but to keep myself awake. Tumbled out the door to face the daily aching pains. TV's on from dawn to midnight, keeps my mind at ease, even though all these shows terrify me. Doctors, bills, sex and pills, midnight programs help me sleep and fill my dreams with their screams, leave me tossing fitfully. All this pain inside my head keeps me down in my bed, but I'm not asleep, I'm wide awake instead. Turned in another application just to get turned down. It seems that accommodations keep you on the ground, sitting here on the sidelines, watching with the crowd. All I want's to work a job, but instead I'm fading out. All this pain inside my head keeps me down in my bed, but I'm not asleep, I'm wide awake instead. Try my best with mixed results. Chronic pain tends to drain what you have in your vault. The click of keys against a cane, signaling all of my faults. But I am happy in my body, aching hips and all.
Yeah. Oh my god. Wow. That was incredible as always. As your second biggest fan, I will always look for an excuse to hear you sing, especially my favorite song. You know the one. And I guess...
Even though I forgot it.
Yeah, I guess if people actually want to know all the words, then they'll have to wait till you send it out into
sure will.
The universe. All right, let's see. Okay. I wanted to say thanks for coming in, and maybe I'll have to do this kind of thing more often with some more musical people I know.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm so glad that you could be the first. You're truly one of my personal inspirations,
Leo.
musically and otherwise. And I'm not just saying that because we're on the radio right now, I promise. And okay, so we're all sad to see Pi go, but if you thought that was it, you were horribly mistaken. We're nearing the end of our time. Not really, it's only been like 23 minutes, but still. Before I sign off, I'm going to play a few songs from Pi's EP, Lullabies for the Brokenhearted, so stay tuned. And here we go with Sheep. If I can do it. I believe in myself. All right, here we are.
One more step, then I will be at the end. Turn the page again. One last breath. Summer's haze will always end. The haze been wrapped and rolled. The breeze is turning cold. Here I go again, I'm driving, no clue where or why. I'm just acting on emotion, trying to sort out the lies. And I know that I wasn't made to fight this, still I try. My first steps, new and odd and wondrous, toe across the line. Don't look back, you might have a heart attack. Everything has changed, is that why I feel strange? Here I go again, I'm driving, no clue where or why. I'm just acting on emotion, trying to sort out the lies. And I know that I wasn't made to fight this, still I try. Breathe this in, it will be over before it begins. That's just how it is, the world revolves, it spins. The sunflowers that grow around my home follow me wherever I roam, a wilted mess of all that never worked out. There's vines there too, growing up a wall that's made of brick and about to fall, and I'm in the corner trying to do without you. Now my nails are too sharp to hold you tight, and I might be half wolf, so don't look me right in the eye. A sheep in wolf's clothing,
is still a two-faced lie. Suddenly an angel appears to clearly show me all of my fears. The flowers wilt and crumple beneath his feet. He knocks down the crumbling bricks and show me there's something more than this. But vines still wrap around my arms and keep me still and sweet. Now my nails are too sharp to hold you tight, and I might be half-wolf, so don't look me right in the eye. A sheep in wolf's clothing is still a two-faced lie. And it's a shame I can't be in your arms, but if I was there, then I'd just be bringing you harm. Now I'm a sheep off to slaughter